Well, this was supposed to be a night of banger matchups, and the first one maybe did not provide as we were hoping it would. So hopefully we'll get something here as we battle for the Lone Star State. We have University of Texas and Longhorn Gaming taking up against the Bobcats of Texas State. Woo, should be a good one. Hey, two schools in Texas, a lot of pride on the line. Thing is, we didn't really get a lot to see out of week one because of some reschedules that they're still putting together. So just 0-1 for the Longhorns, and 1-0 for Texas State. Any kind of early thoughts when you saw this one kind of pop into the schedule, Austin?
Yeah, I mean, for as far as both, still both are kind of within the top 25. I think Longhorn are right at 25, right? So this is kind of, their mark of, do they deserve to kind of be in this top 25 rankings? Well, if you show it here versus the Texas State Esports squad, all of a sudden we start to talk you up, right? So in my mind, I think these are still two really good squads, but the Longhorns here are going to be the ones that have to kind of really show up to take down this Texas State squad that we all know and love.
Absolutely. You love them? Man. Didn't realize
you were out there. Them. Yeah, I absolutely love these guys, from the bottom of my heart, Alan.
Wow.
Highest caster.
Love that. Yeah. We got a sub in? What the heck? Here we go. Here's our roster for the Longhorns, though. Saucy, Crit, Mickey, and Velocity. And the thing about it is, I'm pretty sure all four of these guys are back from last year. So if that's the case, hey, great news. Because you're trying to improve after what was, a playoff bracket, but an early exit, so to speak. And you're coming off of an unfortunate 3-0 loss to start. So again, the statistics are not really going to show us too much, but hopefully some veterancy will help prevail against these, tougher seas.
Yeah, without a doubt. Also, I mean, you got to throw it out there. We've been talking about the juice and the sauce all day. We got saucy, right? So it's it was meant to be. This is just coming full circle. You know what I mean? I'm absolutely loving it. Love to be here. I just had to point that out. So there we go.
Love that. We even got a little bit of opportunity to see halfway between sauce and juice with the stew. So
sir,
we got everything going on. We got everything going on.
Refrigerator here.
We're ready for dinner. Bring the kids. That said, though, Longhorn Gaming again now facing up against Texas State. This team looked really solid throughout last year. They were, again, I would say they had a tough, if I remember right, they had a tough playoff bracket. Looking at our notes that we've got here, they were eliminated losers round 4, so they did kind of go a little bit of a longer distance than the Longhorns did on the other side. But you've got Tactic, Draco, and Scripps, who I believe are all three are back. I know for a fact Draco and Tactic are. Splody, new name for us, though, the freshman on the incoming, and maybe something to be said about trying to improve the roster here after a solid 1-0 start.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Always interesting to see how, those new players kind of impact the roster as a whole, especially when you got at least a lot of chemistry kind of built into the remaining players. But without a doubt, I think we'll be looking at Splody to see exactly what he brings to the table. I know Draco was certainly one of the players that I remember a lot of throughout last year. Had a lot of great moments. So we'll see exactly if this squad can kind of keep up to what they were doing throughout last year, and if Splody can kind of be that key X factor that maybe they need to kind of really get them going.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting because it's a bounce back versus the proven, at least through one match. And the thing about it is they played the same opponent, so it was a 3-0 win versus CSUN for Texas State, an 0-3 loss to CSUN by the Longhorns. Again, early, tough to sit there and say that that's going to be an indication for how this series will go, but we'll see what the series layout will look like here for our two Texas squads. Getting it all going here for us on Mercado. First place to go. Embassy search again for us here, Austin, then a hotel control.
Yeah, swapping it up just a tad bit. Still got some embassies in the mix, but definitely got some faster play maps kind of in the mix here, at least for the first one. Mercado Hardpoint, man. I mean, AR is obviously always going to be important in a game like this, but this is at least where subs can just feel a lot more impactful. A lot more of the hills are close range, so I'm sure this could be a chance for either one of the team subs to kind of have a chance to be able to take over. Yeah. And then, as you mentioned, as we go a little bit deeper, that's when it's the opposite, and that's when the subs are probably going to have less and less fun. So have all the fun you want here in map number 1, because it unfortunately doesn't get easier as you go through embassy and hotel from here on out.
Set the tone, one way or the other. Maybe it just gets set for us. We don't have to see anyone just go out there and, hey, okay, this is going to happen. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm making stuff up. But, the thing about this is the Texas region always provide. I will have always said that.
True.
I would say, our two biggest, state threats have been Texas and Florida. I feel like we always get really tight battles in both of those two states. I'm waiting for the day that California shows up, because we've got so many schools from Cali that end up showing up and get enrolled and all that towards what we're getting the CCL, but we don't often get a chance to see them really do too much in the way of making moves, making waves. Texas always provides. Florida's usually right there behind them. I know Florida. Well, I will say this much. If the gameplay doesn't provide from Florida, trash talk between those schools 100% does.
Ruthless.
Oh my God, they don't know how to stop.
They don't hold back.
No.
I feel like, you know what I mean? They let it fly, and I'm here for that. They'll let it fly a lot more often, and maybe even some of the other divisions, let it fly. We're here for that banter. We're here for like more being on a match than just, being able to say I'm 2-0 now, or we lost, now we're 0-2. It's we smacked you guys, we beat you down, that's what you want to get out there. So we'll see what happens, but here we go, kicking it off. Longhorn Gaming up against Texas State Esports, and well, so far so good for some early time here for Texas, able to get some numbers around the point, able to slay out early, and that will be some early control.
That burnt orange and gray of the University of Texas, no one does it quite like the Longhorns. Maybe doing a little bit better right now is Texas State at 14 opening seconds. They're golden maroon. 14 looking to be more than that, but Texas is kind of watching the cross here and appreciate the idea, especially considering we're heading over towards the second hard point. But are they too closeted? I guess the answer will be provided for us. 3 straight kills come out, and Texas will have the rotation to Cantina.
Comes at a perfect moment, slows them down, won't be able to get here right away. And Mickey's in a prime position to get a good look at this push, but Scripps kind of goes right underneath his barrel. It's fine, still finishes him off, gets a read on the second.
Well done.
And well, Mickey, great read on the both. Knows the trophy's down, says, all right, I'll take that out too. One more player comes. Draco's finally able to get him out, but now it's a full-on push to the back alley.
Yeah, but look at Texas. They are completely bunkered up. No one gets that trade on the Draco, who was about 1 HP. Mickey will actually trade out himself after coming off the script of really just getting into the mix off of the off-spawn, but Texas State, clean kills. I mean, that just felt like University of Texas they had a perfect setup and then just kind of let themselves stay bunkered up. Now Draco cleaning up the final moments here on the hard point, and it's Texas State looking good for the time.
Good time too, and well, you can see it. Player 2, player 4, both are like, oh, did we hit this? Did we commit? And well, it's going to be a commit from Mickey, but this time he is not good for the time. It will now, of course, transition over to what is happening on this rotation. Oh, yeah, I don't think he's going to get a read on the player behind the desk. It's Saucy, cleans up 2. Nice little patient play, stays alive, and allows his teammates to come in for free.
Can appreciate that from Saucy. A little trigger discipline for you. The 10 opens up. 25-57 the score. Texas State threatening this opening push. It's not with full numbers nor a full pinch yet, so you're kind of stuck in this half-committed phase, waiting for Draco on the flank, who's finally here, but the attention is still already well aimed up. Longhorn's looking good for the response. One more off-spawn here for Tactic, looking to try to pinch up this final 2v3, but I'll be honest with you, Longhorn's looking pretty solid, at least on these initial holds.
Yeah, they are. They're finessing. They're kind of wrapping around. You can see it. Like Mickey's just kind of outside the hill, waiting for a challenge. He's able to move back in, get information for crit. Might end up losing this on the back of the stun. No, stun in hand doesn't matter. Player might have been still weak. So yeah, that is just about a full 60 that comes to Longhorn Gaming's. I mean, that is just insane from them. And now Draco's also cutting off the rotation. So you need a response now in this Barber Hill, and Draco's in a perfect spot to stop it.
Yeah. Oh, and what a little turnaround. Gets the read on towards Mickey. So 5 in a row for Draco, looking for streaks. Has both weapons to play with. And maybe you've even heard Velocity nearby. Floaty, zoning, and Texas State flawless on every front. This is going to be so much free time at Barber, especially if Tactic can keep holding the line this far forward.
Yeah, the zoning is just so much right now. Floaty getting aggressive. Nice little snap up close to the AR, puts him on 4 in a row. 30 seconds left on this hill, and it feels like haven't even really been able to get a foot into it whatsoever. The full 60 likely to be matched with about a full 60. Rotations already taking place. A lot of freedom to move across the map, and Tactic has just found 2.
Oh gosh, it's one of those moments again where it feels like Texas are making decent moves, but individual gunfights just a little different right now for Texas State. This is looking like scrap to initial. UT still flooding from the back. They do get one player in, but Saucy can only stay alive for so long. Crit's actually avoided this gunfight, and I was about to say maybe he sneaks around for a bit of a delayed hit, but not to be. Patio opens, and we've got ourselves now all of a sudden a 50-point gap favoring the Bobcats.
Oh man, and Tactic, I mean, it's just little plays like this that just hurt your setup so bad when you're trying to break it. Now you have to wait, hope for a challenge, try to get a free pick, and no one's giving you anything. So it's going to be a full-on flood right through mid, and well, Draco able to get some good shots in. forces the other two to kind of re-wrap around the back. Scripps has got a read on the first one. And while this is just in the blender right now, as Texas are just soaking up the time.
And this is just individual gunfight diff. I think, again, like, I'm not upset about what I'm seeing from UT as far as how the team is moving. We're just not winning gunfights right now. Here are the Longhorns. Draco stun in, and you can see, again, just look at the zone of control that Texas State has. So many threats. And the gunfights from Draco just as perfect as you've ever seen. Now they're pushing back in towards the hard point with good control around the middle of the map as well, but Longhorns do fight back. All four stay alive just as the hard point opens up.
Yeah, it's a good moment there, just to be able to hold on, right?
Exactly.
Thinking, oh no, 2v4 break. This is not looking great, but we're able to recover, and Mickey now should be able to become behind the play, back up, whatever he needs to do. He's kind of the roaming SMG in this defensive setup. Oh, it's a snap! Velocity able to turn. He's had a slow start so far. Maybe starting to heat up as he tries to reinforce the point here up top, but his teammate is good for the kill on the Draco. 25 seconds, you love to be able to get it, but still, pressure coming their way.
Yeah, and once again, look how bunkered they are. Just no one bumping the hard point. Scripps walks behind for free. Okay, now we have to have a conversation. This is second straight time we've seen at Cantina. The hold looks good for the Longhorn. They get essentially 3, if not all 4 down, then nobody pushes out to create any sort of a buffer. Fortunately, they do get the trade onto Scripps, but this is becoming a recurrent problem for the Longhorns, especially as we rotate in towards parking. And Texas State are here first. And look at the zone they've already put together. I mean, they've got so many feelers out there to get a read on where this hit's coming from.
Well, they should know. Inside the warehouse, where members are starting to flood through. Draco
Jesus
has to continue to play his life. He is just pumping out damage right now. It's just about single-digit HP, and somehow just man will not die. And, well, he's only died a total of 6 times throughout first 6 hills, and, well, might be able to keep it at 6 a little bit longer. Play in the back will be shut down. Floaty's there for the reach out, and it is just, once again, all Texas in the feed. Back to step 1, just trying to get across the map here from Longhorn Gaming.
Yeah, for real. That is the big key. And maybe it's just one of those things that you can kind of summarize by saying that the Longhorns are just not doing well controlling the map. Even when moments look good for them, it's just they're giving away so much space. So crit, trying to double up. That would be maybe good for the hardpoint win, but instead it's tactic on 5. Mickey trying to put some together sort of a threat. We'll hit the dead silence back around mid. Script is watching this. Splody covering up through mid, and it's all Texas State in the kill feed. Once more, Austin, we kind of got a little bit jebaited. We had a nice tight start, and then you look up at the scoreboard and the game's over.
Yeah, Draco still only died 6 times. So there's still that in the kind of take in, and Draco finds 2 more and puts himself up to 26. Tries to get the wall bang in. Doesn't matter, Texas State. I mean, that is just a flawless back 3 to 4 hills right there where they just completely run away with it. 250, 118.
Yeah, it really was. The majority, if not, we'll say 90% of the time for University of Texas came at Cantina. The first and second time. That was pretty much it, right? I mean,
that's about right.
Yeah.
That and a little bit of the Tin Hill, I guess.
Sure. Yep. Man, it can get, I think, a little bit just frustrating to watch it happen, right? Because it's another one of those moments where it just feel like, okay, okay, let me stop myself. Texas State was playing better COD. Individually, I think collectively as a full squad, lots of individual trust, which we saw kind of executed on. Whereas for Texas, they weren't completely out of the kill feed, so to speak, especially early on. But the moments that I kind of mentioned, I think were pretty clear where it's, okay, we just got 3 dead. Why are we not pushing out and taking more of the map? That has to be, I think, the next focus point here for the Longhorns on their respawn.
Absolutely. I mean, it's also just important to do that just to get a read on what the next play is too, right? Like not even just to then find the kills from a further push forward position. It's like, okay, are they rotating now? Are they continuing to hit this? How many numbers are they sending where? And you get that information even when you die. You can spawn back up and still be a part of that play. So I think that is a lot of it. I'm with you. And it really was the start where all right, this is looking solid, but just a couple slip-ups just like this, right? Like a double chow through back alley. Draco's able to at least get a little bit closer to the point off the back end of a 2-piece. That should almost never really happen. So, so many of those moments. I mean, a lot of pop-off plays, of course, again, but when it comes down to just locking down the hill, Texas were there first. They held on to it.
Yeah. And, again, this Texas State team individually is going to be, I think, one of our more impressive squads this year as they were last year. So to see Splody not just hang, but also have some pop-off moments, I think is exciting if you're a Bobcats fan. Kind of trying to improve from where you were last year. No. All things good, and you've said it, I think, 2 or 3 times, but I mean, Drake only dying 6 times is
it's insane.
That's stupid.
Like look at how much hill time he has too. Like, it's not like he's just like playing KD only. Like,
Right,
this
exactly,
man is
exactly.
on the hill, finding objective kills, soaking up time, winning you rotations, taking tough battles. I mean, the list just goes on. When you have a player again that's just doing this for you, like, it is setting up for Splody and Tactic and Scripts to get where they need to get to, because he's just creating so much room.
Absolutely. And when you get that room and you put individually great players into good positions, things like this are going to happen. It's just the way it is. Okay, that's enough on Mercado. Let's talk about Embassy. Search and Destroy up next. Hate to say it, but this almost feels like a copy pasta of what we're about to say from our first series, right? Like, okay, you know, for the Longhorns, you just got heavily outslayed. There's an individual skill gap that we just saw in the Mercado. You have to put the qualms aside on that map and move into this next one and show us that you can be competitive in the series. Otherwise, we could be in for another short series here, I think.
It's possible, right? It's very possible. And I think, like, the key to that is, let's just make sure we're not solo challenging things like right away, like off the rip. Like, try to get some double challenges in, try to get some good stuns and nades in. Like, make sure, you know, no use of the trophies round 1, no use of the dead silence. Like, let's try to play like a tight setup. And just do not let anyone kind of slip through the map, especially if you're on defense. Like it's just kind of the fundamentals, I think, that you have to come back to when you're a team that kind of gets beaten up on the map number 1, and you are the underdog, you know, in a lot of people's eyes, including, you know, mine at least. So
yeah,
I think those are the keys that you have to kind of always come back to, and just don't get too mixy. Like, don't try to do too much. I think we see teams do that. They try to make a really big play. They find one, they want to look for another. You don't have to make the flashy plays. I think just try to keep it basic here. And that's maybe your chance to be able to at least grab a map off of this very devastating Texas squad that is obviously relentless and extremely good.
Smart COD. That's what we want right now, without question. Yeah, I like that call. That's good comms right there out of you, as always. You're always providing good comms, but that one in particular, that's top of the line right there, buddy. I don't know where I'm going with that. Now, and the other thing, too, is you look towards this division, seeing who else is involved here. Again, it looks like a lot of the teams did actually put together some reschedules, so there's going to be, I think, a lot to be learned. But you've got Oklahoma Christian, who's going to be good this year. That's to be given. And then Arizona, I think, is who UGC Battlecats is, if I'm not mistaken. They had a good year last year and just kind of fell short. Kind of like the same conversation we had about Michigan earlier in the broadcast, where it's like, great first half of the year, the stages got mixed up, and then they kind of fell off. It was kind of the same thing for Arizona.
Sure.
So I hope that they've been able to kind of put together a solid roster to alleviate those problems, if that is indeed them. What was that?
Might have hit my water? Possibly.
All right.
Might have spilled it everywhere.
Okay.
Either way, here we go. 3-on-3. Little minute left on the clock here, and Texas in a nice little good spot. Able to pop out through mid. Finds Mickey, no problem. And now a chance to be able to grab this bomb, because Crit can't watch over unless he gets sound cues. And, well, he's... Oh, wow. I mean, Draco hits him, right? I think he got a hit marker.
Had to have.
Tactic, able to get this bomb down, and now you know a sniper's in play.
Oh, but around the back, Velocity does kind of mix up this post plant just a touch. It's 2 individual 1v1s, though, most likely. I think Splody was just seen jumping across. Tactic stun play. Absolutely perfect. Now Velocity is stuck on the wrong side of the map. Them Texas will push him out. You have to kill Splody, and then you have to just be an absolute pog champion and take down Tactic off a heady. Not going to happen. Not enough time. Texas State will take the first round.
Tactic with 3. Still a chance. Grab the last one, but Velocity will at least make it a little bit tough on them. Now he knows where Tactic is. Tactic doesn't want to commit to the gunfight, but doesn't matter. Velocity able to at least end on a 3 spree of his own, so a chance to work for streaks, but that's just about it. Texas, I mean, just as clean as it gets, right? With a B hit, able to get across, get that bomb down, and use the numbers correctly.
At least you get the final kills, though. It gives you a little bit of bandage towards the wound of the opening 3 kills not going anywhere. So, hey, we can gun these guys. Let's just keep it
It's
out.
definitely some copium. It's like, I'm almost on a streak, guys. Don't worry about that round. I'm working towards a cruise.
The hopium. So what do we have now for the offense of Texas? Designs towards A here. Sniper in play, but Draco gets the first blood. Second's going to follow up. Tactic just takes over the bathrooms. That was by design, by the way. Texas were supposed to have 2 players through halls, and they both get shut down. 3 kills again. Oh, great heavens. Not a good start.
No, it's not a good start. Not when Tactic's just flying like this, right? Like, this is just no respect. Like, hey, I know the last player's isolated. I know there's like a minute and like 10 seconds left on the clock right now, but I'm just going to fly at him, right? And just no hesitation. I mean, Draco, to be fair, almost actually lines up a collateral there with that nice little angle he holds. Like, they're fortunate enough not to lose 2 members right off the rip, but doesn't really matter. Tactics got 6 of the 7 currently here from Texas State so far, so there is also that.
Yeah, that is a thing that is currently happening.
That helps.
University of Texas trying to contest the plant this time and doing well. Nades are going to land. Draco fighting back. Velocity in the mid, though, is going to watch the cross, and Saucy can stay concealed. The bomb is down as well. Dangerous tidings for Texas State. Draco with the pistol. Saucy does get stunned, but not enough time for Draco to push forward and find the kill. We reset 2v3.
There's good info, but yeah, Draco is trying to work outside the door. Velocity's there. Just patiently waiting for him. So, looking like a round that could be tallied up here for Longhorn. Well, he would have to beam Velocity at the back, and he does so. There is time to work with.
Lots of time.
So he does make it manageable. Just about 40 seconds on that clock. That bomb, however, is down, and just based off where the positions are, I feel like they got to know that. Floaty's got Deddy. He's got 30. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, and he's still trying to clear things out over here towards A. This will not allow him to use this dead silence over towards where the actual kills would be. Does clear out a lot of the space around him, though. Mickey down low. Good look at the gunfight, actually. Mickey kind of jumps out into the line of fire, but still wins the gunfight, no worries. And with that, UT on board.
I like that play. Just kind of pushing through mid this time, too. Like, coming behind the play. Like, you know, okay, like, they go for a fast plant, they get numbers on the site, and then they want to play for post plant for Draco. But as soon as you cut through mid and you come behind the play and you should get some good stuns and nades in there, like, that play is just no longer really going to be successful, especially when you get the kills to follow. So, very nicely done, I feel like, that round. Just kind of throwing in a bit of a change-up that we really needed to see. And, well, if we get more of it, especially on this attack with these opening gunfights, well, they can start to bring this one back.
There's going to be someone watching the cross, though. It's Draco. Just a bit wide. So one player crosses. Splodey's ready for it. There's supposed to be somebody helping there as Velocity, I believe. Yeah, the trade eventually gets there, but the bomb is stuck, and now Tactic will kind of follow up as the next line. And with a play also coming through mid. Scripts is almost... I think he was trying to get assassinated right there if I were Mickey. Had to go for the beatdown, didn't get the animation, and then sees the play come by the normal way, but Tactic shuts everything down. That second member forward, man. So hard to predict.
It is. It's just such a good spot. And now Mickey is forced to clutch up in a situation that you feel like is just so difficult to do now. No dead silence. He uses it to get to this spot in the back, and it feels like player 4 right now. Draco knows exactly where he is. Mickey might have also heard sound cues of his own, but doors being broken open. Has to sprint across the map very loudly. I feel like Tactic might be able to find kill number 3, and he does.
Jesus, bro.
In.
Tactic's a problem. It is one of those things, I will say, like, you think if you're UT, hey, we've dealt with the problem in mid, right? Like, we had one player watch the cross, second player pushed up, we got the kill on the heady, and then Tactic just dives forward as, like, that delayed defensive aggression. So, it's hard to get a read on that, especially when you're down numbers and you're down utility. Tough seeds. But can the Longhorn still put together a solid defense? Hey, like you mentioned, it was pretty impressive what they did last time through. Would love to see a continuation of that.
Yeah, I think the map control is just always so important. See if they go for it again. Draco keeping the scope hot. Shot still connecting. Well, Velocity able to get one back, but look where Tactic is. Tactic is already through. Doesn't want to opt in for a bomb plant just yet. He wants to play for the guy up top. And Sound's running out, and well, the patience does pay off. Oh, he doesn't see the player in the corner. So this is still possible to come above the play, maybe stop the plant here, but we'll see if Tactic decides to go for the bomb plant just yet.
Crit may have given away some sound cues here. Maybe not, actually. No, he's popped dead silence of his own. Yeah, that was the player stuck in the corner that I think Tactic knew someone was up there. He was looking for him. I think he may have heard footsteps from his other opponent deeper in towards mid because he kept looking down and up the stairs. So 2v2, bomb down. collection is not going to be easy here for Texas State, considering where it's down at, especially seeing as UT have put together some great positioning around these stairs. Bomb does get collected, and Scripps finds a kill into Mickey, who just did not anticipate play coming from the staircase. Great now for the 1v2. Not going to happen.
Wow. I don't know how many Draco gets in that round. At least 3, right? Feels like. Quite a few kills come his way. And first one, of course, by Sniper. And then you're thinking, in this 2v2, with the bomb, in the spot that it is, this is a very manageable defensive round coming through again. Just got to go for those peaks, get them off the bomb. But it's just that kill that comes in down low into Mickey. He is really everything. Because once the player is isolated in the back and he throws the nade, it's good luck, have fun. You got to win some tough gunfights out in front of you.
Yep. And the thing about it is, like, there's no world that Texas think that, well, not think, but they don't know that the bomb is down there. Nor do I think they think the bomb is down there with how aggressive play was. Draco gets one on the cross. Counter stun just not there. There's also a double stack of defenders right here at tennis as well. Although velocity up top he goes unchecked. That's the freest 2-piece of his life.
Yeah.
Now the bomb gets planted, even though the first blood looked good for Texas State.
Yeah, I love the idea of sending one, to kind of deal with that initial push. But as soon as you send 2 for free, makes it easy pickings here for Velocity, who's also now got a read on a third player. Potentially might be able to find Scripps. Yep, shots are good. Velocity for 3. Draco, last one left alive. 1v3 required.
Whoa, he gets the challenge he wants. Wait, hold on a second. Does he know that the second is nearby? Some idea of it. But no one's going to peek, and why would you? There's the round. Okay. So the Longhorns get it done this time from the offensive side, and it's in a great response moment, too. I mean, that is kind of the, rock when scissors was thrown. You have a double stack down low, no one's watching the top window, and Velocity takes advantage.
Sure do. And I think, like, every single defensive round, somebody has come flying out of orange to also contest that cross. So if Draco's not finding them with the sniper picks, like, somebody else is forcing a gunfight right away, but they just get forced into that spot where they're just kind of sitting side by side for way too long, and the challenge is never coming. So yeah, like you mentioned, freest 2-piece Velocity you'll just about ever see, especially in this map. He'll take it. He's also working on another spree, still a little bit far from that cruise, but might be able to work for it. We'll see.
Again, hopium. Nades up top do actually push off the scope angle, and Saucy down low is going to be, you would think, pretty unchecked here. 1 for 1 would be fine. As long as it doesn't get too antsy and check this corner, this setup is fine. Because you're denying any intel on top of B. So if Texas State is looking to kind of feel things out with Draco's scope, yeah, there's no way that you have any anticipation that there's a player down low, nor can you freely deal with them. So it's a favorable opening engagement for the Longhorns. By numbers, 3v2, and more importantly, the clock's down to 45 seconds.
Oh, Saucy does get taken out. And you mentioned the time being a factor. Texas is going to have to figure out where they want to go, and B looks to be that answer. But Velocity's going to be able to call this cross. So Tactic going to eat up some shots. Second player, I think, also just about able to get across too. So this bomb should go down safely.
And they can. And this here's the whole thing though for the Longhorns. They know the post plant will be on or around this side of the bomb site. No one's going to get back through. So you've got an idea here as far as how you would break this down. But you don't check orange. Draco punishes you. Grip by himself. 1v2. He's got no way of challenging this top angle. He's just got to hope for a kill and then a snap up top. Gets the snap up top. Hold on a second. Maybe a chance, but Draco is just going to wait for the time, and he will check this at 7.5, and that will be the round.
Oh, he even baits the door. Oh.
Wait, did he get it?
Might have. That was close. That was close. I don't know if he got it. I think it might be just off.
Whoa!
No, he gets it!
What a mistake!
Oh my goodness. Alan, you called it. You just got to snap on the first guy, and the way that you're framing it, it's like, oh man, he's not going to snap on him, right? But he does. And then Draco, I thought he was going to open the door and then like hesitate to go out just to kind of bait him off the bomb in case he hops on it to go for the ninja defuse, but he doesn't. He insta challenge, and Crick just holds it.
That is a unexcusable mistake. I mean, the kill comes through on his teammate at like 14 seconds. So you have to check it at like 8. And I don't know, man. That was I think, yeah, you called that right. I thought for sure it was going to be just bait the door and then check immediately afterwards, but Draco not getting the confident approach. Does see one player jump over towards the right, but this threat towards tennis is very real, and Texas are running forward. Tactic would have to put together a response. Draco gets one at range, but how do you deal with this from Tactic with a Vaznev inside of orange? I don't think he can.
Yeah, it's tough. He's also been the player with the hot hands, too. His nade is perfect. It's able to stop that plant, and it's also great information.
Wow.
You even got Scripps, who's ready to work and pounce through mid. Mickey's now forced to run away into the back. 1 versus 3. Numbers were looking great. Push was there, but Mickey now has to try to pull off a 1v3 himself. He is able to find the first, but 30 seconds to work with.
Yeah. Texas is a little bit cold feet. The nades doing their job for the Bobcats. Pulling them off for the plant. And now, how do you work through this? Did see Scripps. Shots come through. Tactic is biding his time. Doesn't quite see him on top, interestingly enough. Doesn't see him at all. Now he's stalking his prey. Mickey, do you expect this? No, not quite. Okay, so Texas State. That, I think they're going to look at that and say that that should have been the map-winning round, but regardless, still up 2.
I think the fact they just bounce back after a little bit of a blunder like that, always really key, always extremely important. And Tactic is now on 14 kills, so, I mean, there would have been a bit of a problem if they didn't close this one out with the numbers that he's been dropping so far. And, I mean, you just take a look at everyone else, right? It's a total of 12, so he's got, more kills than his entire team combined. It has just been the Tactic show with Draco throwing in some snipes here and there,
Yeah.
and he's going to continue to look for some of those snipes here, too.
Opening defensive nades will take down both trucks nearby. Splody, I have to mention, was tagged by some of that, but Tactic in the middle of the map, completely turned around. Crit just finds a nice piece of timing. That's 2 major players off the table early for Texas State. Longhorns in a 3v2.
3v2, and I like that they all just kind of back up, right? Don't want to linger around for too long. Don't allow those trades to come through. Now Splody and Draco have to make a move for that bomb and retrieve it. Velocity's got the entire map cut if he wants it, or they could just wrap all the way around here. This is a little bit interesting, because if Draco turns right, he might have some free shots here, but it's a double push. He's not ready for it. Now it's all up to Splody.
He's going to see if he can maybe catch some timing on this player crossing around the back. Thing about it is the Longhorns don't have to move from these positions. They're able to watch everything. Obviously, B's not an option with Mickey in this position, and then if there is a plan at A, you have 2 players who should be able to coordinate a retake. Okay. Splody gets a kill for free, essentially. A tough gunfight, but he still wins it. Now he's got dead silence.
Snap it again, Alex! Oh, God!
Oh, no! Not again.
It happened again.
Dude,
what are those windows made of?
I'm telling you, this new patch must have come through and there said there's too many gunfights happen on this place of diplomatic business. Reinforce the windows.
Yeah, dude, we are tired of bullets flying through while we're trying to do our 9 to 5s. What the hell?
What the? I got papers to shred up here. What are we doing? Damn.
Oh, man. Couple of comedic scenes without a doubt, but good news here. Longhorn Gaming, you're still very much alive, Alan.
Yeah. This time Longhorn will actually opt to take care of the trucks. Draco just a bit wide, backs away, and Scripps is very far pushed up. He actually catches Velocity, who's close by, and then Draco gets the snap onto Saucy, no worries. And, well, Texas, unfortunately, this round has just become very difficult. 2v4, and the Bobcats are all over your back line.
They are all over the building. Mickey's like, I don't know where to look. I don't know where to go. Starts shooting above him, hoping he can wallbang, and then crit. Well, probably gonna fall. Tactic. I don't know what he gets up to, but he adds in another tally, and it's Texas State. They grab the map number 2 and close it out 6-4.
I think that's 16.
16.
Yeah, and 10, bro. I want to. Yeah, there it is. 16-6. And 200 damage. Just kidding. That's nuts, though. That's an unbelievable search from him.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, it is just kind of setting up to allow him to get forward. I mean, we talked about it a couple of rounds previously. He just is the second guy up. works out, blows up a play, gets around the back a couple times, blows up plays that way, and he was just a nuisance, I would say, from start to finish there, if you were the University of Texas in Austin. So Longhorns down 0-2 Austin, and Texas State looking like they're in firm control of this series.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that they probably should have closed that one out, a little bit earlier, too. It was just a heroic play that ends up coming in to force another round, try to keep things going, but it was really Texas State just about the entire way through. Tactic, and mind you, he's doing this with a sub, which I think is more impressive when you talk about Embassy, because you have to get yourself to those positions to be effective. Now, sure, that comes from a bit of support, but also comes from good decision-making, really good awareness. So,
Agreed.
Incredible stuff here from Tactic on this map, man.
Yeah, absolutely. This is that moment as well, by the way, where he was just like the second guy forward. It's just like, you don't expect that. No. That's kind of the tricky thing about, like you mentioned, playing with a sub in particular, is just like knowing how to get to space. Yeah. Be difficult. And sometimes it is just, don't get to space. Like, stay away from everything for the first 30 seconds. And then when all the utilities thrown, then you can make your move. This was comedy.
Yeah.
Hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Oh, thank you. But quick trades afterwards, no worries. And now all of a sudden you start to look towards, Texas. How do you make this comeback happen? Especially considering that you're going into a control on Hotel, where you talked about how subs can sometimes be in a blender if you don't get into good positions and you don't have good support around you. That very well may be the case once again, and I feel like the wind is... Maybe it was never in the air, let alone ever in the sails here for Texas, because this has really been the Bobcat series. Kind of like the same thing we said was in our last.
It feels that way, right? It's just hard, I think, to speak on the other side of things. As much as this one at least is a little closer, they do get, some big rounds after what was maybe looking like a similar Embassy search and destroy from what we saw in the previous series. But you start putting together some rounds, it just doesn't come down to when having enough numbers in some of these situations where there's just too many 1v clutches kind of required. Yeah, that's always going to hurt you, put you on the back foot.
And, that's just something that I think anybody who's in the CCL this year can take away from is, if you feel like you're getting outgunned, don't put yourself in a 2v2 in the first 30 seconds. Give yourself a chance to get into the round. Like you're talking about when we were loading into this, don't just run forward and give away free kills and, get frustrated. Yeah. Give yourself a look. And, sure, there were moments there where the Longhorns did give themselves a chance at some of those rounds. But, yeah, like you mentioned, a lot of those rounds were very quickly into 1v2s, 1v3s, 2v4s. You just don't want to be in those positions with a minute 30 left. It just puts you in such an impossible situation.
Exactly. A lot of tough spots. And, that's something you can at least praise Texas State for, maybe putting them in a lot of those tough situations. But ultimately, they're clutching up. They're going back to a respawn where Draco just went 26-6. So there is a lot to deal with going forward here for the Longhorns, but another one of those, do or die situations has to happen now.
Indeed the case. We'll step away for a break. When we come back, it'll be a Hotel Control. See how everything kind of fares. The battle for the Lone Star State continues right after that. Welcome back, everybody. Once again, we found ourselves in very familiar positions. It's a dominating 2-0 affair so far, with Texas State now over to the University of Texas and the Longhorn Gaming crew. Hotel Control, though, coming up next. Maybe things can change here. It feels a little false to say that, though. Maybe a little bit of misconceived notions, just simply due to the fact that, look, the Mercado hardpoint was a very telling story in this affair so far.
It was. I think that, outside of the first couple hills and outside of Cantina and Tin, it really didn't feel like we saw a lot of really strong moments, as a team, I would even say. For the Longhorn Gaming boys. So I think coming into, a Hotel Control, it's another one of those, does someone, big individually need to step up? Do all four players to be completely, on point? I feel like it's really tough to, find one ass coming into this control on Hotel, where I feel like on the other side, Texas State have just been, pretty much good across the board. Everyone has had a good moment so far here to the first two maps.
It's multifaceted, when it comes down to how many obstacles that Longhorn Gaming squad have to hurdle. I think that's kind of the best way of putting it. And, it's early season times. You did the hard part about qualifying for Division 1. That, honestly, in its own right, is very difficult to do, considering it was an open qualifier bracket, essentially. So, that's good news when it comes to, you always have that to, set yourself up. Okay, guys, not the greatest start to the season, but, hey, we made it to Division 1. We know we're a good team. We're better than the majority of the league. Let's get back to what that looked like and just kind of work your way through that trust process that you already worked your way through a very tough gauntlet. So Maybe that conversation's already happening here for Longhorns trying to get back into this particular series, though again, it feels a little empty to say those words considering how convincing these first two series have been for one side or the other. But into the mix, see what can happen this time through. Longhorn Gaming will start on the offense on this hotel control. Draco first blood, that's over towards the B point, and that may influence the Longhorns to give up on any designs towards B and just default to A, but they can't even do that. Everything just overwhelmed all at once for the Bobcats.
Yeah, that's right. Player 8 even kind of, blocks some of those further spawns to make sure not all 4 players kind of spawn up with one another to make a full-on hit to A. So, nice play coming through. Draco still very much alive up top, and this man's got to be hearing all kinds of footsteps, little tweaks around him. Here's one down low, but is punished for it. Numbers now here onto the zone. Tactic, the last one up here to play defense, and he might just be pushed out. Saucy is there to find him. Now you can stop the clock.
More than that, you can stack start to get some progress here. All it takes is one good kill through mid. That one actually helps out a lot, getting the one over through bedroom. On top of that, Saucy is creating problems for Texas State in the middle of the map. That's taking a lot of time off. Now the third tick of progress is on the way, but Draco and Tactic find the kills maybe needed. Velocity last one, not quite able to stay alive long enough. And the Bobcats will deplete the third tick of progress while still having a number over towards A to make sure that University of Texas do not get anything for free there.
No, won't be able to make a fast transition over, but B is still the target. Draco, 3 players all challenge out at once. Won't be able to play his life. But the stack, I think, might be good for that final tick, and it is. Scripps would just be playing for exits and stopping the push through. Won't be able to find that second. Draco is there. However, B is secured. Minute 14 to work with to try to get A.
Yeah, but look where Tactic is. He's going to force these spawns all the way over towards the old zone, which you would think make problems occur with Draco watching the cross. But with him dropping, now the Longhorns are on their approach. Tactic finally has to make a move. Gets one and a second. Not done yet. More around the corner, but Splody beats him to the punch, and Draco will finish off for the team wipe. 16 plays 13, and University of Texas once again spawning in the exact wrong position.
That's right. Tactic just being as explosive as ever. Keeping his life in the back. AR to work with. Multiple angles to watch. I mean, he is doing everything he possibly can on 3 in a row. He is just delaying this push, just burning time. Even if he doesn't find any kills here, he slows it down, and then Splody gets to come in and collapse if he needs to, but he doesn't commit. Wants to back up, pick up a Vaznev, and just wait this 20 seconds out, but the push is coming through connector.
Oh, and Draco gets a little feisty there, a little too big for his pants, so to speak. Trying to make a play, not able to do so. On towards the zone now come the Longhorns. 9v11, still very doable. First tick of progress is going to be locked here. And they're on the hunt for Splody. They know if they can get him out of the back, there would be an opportunity for them to full stack this, but the problem is now the defense is here from the front. That took so much time to flush them out, and it took, well, arguably, and maybe just more so undeniably, too much time. Second tick will be depleted, 4 seconds on the clock, and Texas State will take the first E.
You like it? How many more bullets? Ready to try to finish that kill off. Goes the knife, but man, certainly a good look. And it's funny because we've seen this happen more and more often where, at the beginning of the game, like, it was all about just, capturing A. We'll somehow try to just get a tick on B. Like, that's kind of the goal. And, the game now evolving, of course, since then, B going over first, trying to get into A, just not happening. And when you keep a player in kitchen for as long as you did, it's just such a far spawn, and it's so much ground to track where you can even get to see the A point. So really manipulating the map quite well there from the Texas State Esports side for sure.
And that's just a remission of, what we had seen in the hardpoint. Just great overall control from Texas State. Velocity mid-map, maybe a chance to kind of double up, but it's the Bobcats who have an opening set play towards A. They'll get on and then through with both Tactic and Splody trying to contest some forward angles. More so Tactic than Splody here, stuck on Chandelier. Nades coming through. They should all connect. Just trying to, again, kill time. It's working out wonderfully, but here's the player on the back. Mickey needs to get here to try to contest, but everyone's prone. Does get some kills here, though. That's actually a full exit wipe. Not bad overall for Texas, now having not just defenders at B, but also a little bit of a life lead.
Maybe it gets scary if Tactic wins that battle onto crit and gets to the back, and everyone's trying to just rotate over quickly. Having to worry about 2 different sides at once wouldn't have been good splitting the map, but 2 minutes to work with. So much time on this clock to start working for ticks of progress. Velocity down low. Will be shut down. It's a good prediction aid that comes through there. Splody, but now Saucy might be able to get behind enemy lines, do the exact same thing. He'll sniff out Tactic, 2 gonna drop. Script's the last one up, needs to try to play his life.
That's really well done from Saucy. Considering the circumstances, it looked like it was about to be floodgates open, Texas State running forward. Saucy kind of changes up the angles, gets a good kind of delay in towards 3 different offensive attackers, and it allows the Longhorns a chance to set their ARs up behind it. Next hit. Tons of time on the clock. Minute 20. Good kills coming through once again. Yeah, well done. Crit on 5. Just stays alive. Wants more. We'll push into luggage. Saucy working on his opposite valet hall, and it's looking pretty good.
Very clean so far. Earning the streak, I feel like, is everything from here on out, but the first minute has been just about flawless. No slip-ups, no one getting through enemy lines. We'll see if that changes. It is a little bit of a kind of 2-and-2 split. 2 players working in and around bedroom. 2 maybe trying to push through mid. Good read, but not the gunfight. Won't come through there for Scripps. So Splody, oh man, you can just feel the anxiety of where players are in and around the bedroom. He's not able to get his gun up, and also the push through mid is also being shut down. Yeah. This is great defense so far.
It's been a minute since we've seen Texas State even get a kill. This is all Longhorn Gaming right now. I mean, all Longhorn Gaming. Crit on 7, Saucy on 3, Velocity on 2, and Mickey's just hanging out. And there hasn't been a kill for the Bobcats in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Still not one.
Will they get one? Okay, that's all I was watching. I was just watching the kill feed like, are we going to get one? We will. But 5 seconds, you have everybody in the right place, especially Crit. You'll find kill number 8. That should be good. Wow. What a defensive round coming through. They give up A at the very first push. They get 2 minutes to work with, and they hold the entire 2 minutes.
Maybe it's just one of those things that's like, if you're Texas State, are you relying too much on these individual plays? Because that was kind of the summary of that entire back half push towards B, was one player trying to make a play from the front, one player through mid, one player deep. Didn't really feel like there's ever a moment that Texas State was ever enabled to get a full setup. So great stuff for Texas, kind of punishing. The Bobcats are maybe getting a little bit too playful with their perceived individual gun skill. Let's find out. Texas once again on this next offensive approach. Nades designed over towards the B zone. Draco ready and waiting for it. Nice shots though from Velocity. May gets him with this nade. No, Draco's still alive. Back out into Spa. Everything comes to a very stiff pause.
Velocity wants it to get another look, and will find him over the top, man. Not an easy gunfight to have. Always feels great, though, when you win it. But he knows one more player is at least around. He's just trying to get a read on it. Maybe just continue to drag resources over. Draco's going to get caught on his cross. Should be finished off, and Velocity is there to put the final shots into Draco once again. But all this, and Tactic is still very much alive. He has been spotted. Stun's going to lock him down, but he could come behind the play.
You need help from the front. That's the problem here. I mean, Texas, once again, just doing essentially what they did in defense. Just controlling space through mid, controlling space around bedroom. Nades have to be what deters the offense from feeling comfortable on the point, and that will work. But, man, you kind of look at the minimap, you thought that the teams were on opposite sides there for a moment. I mean, you still got Texas on the zone and into the defensive side of the map, but finally, everything will reset back to normal, and expectations as far as spawns will be a little bit more level. 26-21. Longhorn Gaming looking for an entry, and it's got to be to B. There's just no options towards A at all.
It really has to be to B, and Tactic is able to at least get one. A lot of members shift over here from Texas State, thinking they might go back over to A, but Draco able to find one through mid. Saucy gonna backtrack here, but he's punished for the play. Tactic able to shut him down. 2 players, though, still very much alive on the point, and might be able to finish it off here. Mickey and Velocity after trying to defend. Scripps trying to make his way in. He is shut down, and that will be the zone. So now another minute to work with here for Longhorn Gaming.
Think about it as this is going to be the exact same setup for Texas State. Get a player in the kitchen, force them to spawn bottom left-hand side of the minimap, have one player watch the flank. It's Scripps on top of Chandelier. That is an untradeable position. And once more, it's Texas State. How do you punish like this over and over again? Texas have maybe learned their lesson. A full flood in towards kitchen. This is going to be a one-dimensional hit, but it's going to have numbers. Splody down low. Goodness, 6 in a row. The stun also lands, but decides to play his life and wait for a little bit of assistance. No need to get too greedy.
Oh, he might be able to line up 2 more. Splody is exploding right now and in around the kitchen. Holy, 8 in a row for the kid. Might be able to find 2 more. Oh my goodness, there's one. Waits for the second, but Crit wants nothing to do with the challenge. And now 9 lives remaining, 10 seconds on the clock. Have to get a touch, and nobody's in position to do so. And you still took so long to get through Splody. Finally will drop down, but the defense here will also hold.
Man, and the thing is, like, I like that idea from Texas, too. Just full flood in from one direction. Don't keep yourself spawning in a terrible position because you're trying to get around the back, trying to get through mid. Just take over what you need, which was Kitchen. The problem was Splody was having none of it. Absolutely none of it. That was unbelievable.
Yeah. Some insane transfers there for some of those doubles, and he almost put up another double there in the end. That's one of those moments where you're like, I need you to come with me so we can trade this kid. All right, he's weak. Oh, we didn't trade him. Oh, he's weak. Oh, we didn't trade. Like when those moments happen over and over again, they're so demoralizing. And that's just from one player just making big individual plays happen.
Texas State once again on their next offense. Head over towards A, but it's the play through Saucy on Ruggs. That will shut things down. Splody's still a problem. Denied any further action over through mid, but it does open up the opportunity to allow the Bobcats on, and Saucy's having himself a start of a round. Getting a lot of the defensive work done. Mickey to the drop shot, no worries there. First tick though locked, second on the way. It's a pinch setup defensively that gets shut down. So that will be the A zone. A lot of time on the clock, but it is Texas with a 2-life defensive lead.
This is basically the exact same situation as last time. So what do they do differently? Because it took them so long to work through bedroom, and they never found a successful play to the back. They have found 1 kill on transition, so maybe something happens this time around. But Scripps would have to be the one to really set it off, and he is not ready for Crit's position. Tactic does find some shots over the top, but will be traded out for Mickey, and Velocity also able to shut things down from the front. So far, defense still very much holding on here, not letting anyone through the back, and that is really the key.
Yeah. Those velocity drop spawns will likely start to move just a touch here for Texas State. Longhorn still spawning over through Spa. Tactic down low, clearing out space bottom bar. Oh boy, here we go. On the zone, clock will stop. Splody going to be here to join him. Now the play forward. Velocity asked to win a gunfight, and he provides the answer. Still on though for the Splody. Looking for the first tick of progress. Mickey through mid-map, shut down. Draco also doubles up on top of that, so that will be now an opportunity to flood and stack. Second tick's going to be good, and no one's going to get here for the third, it looks like, once they can get the kills through mid. Velocity gets one, but yeah, no one's going to touch. Wow, Texas State just a level above right here.
Yeah. Level above, very swift. And as we were kind of coming in, I mean, it's difficult to come back 0-2 down, but difficult to even put together just that first map here through our first 2 series. Very clean. A lot of pop-off moments. Wanted to see how Splody would do here into the roster. I mean, he had just so many huge moments through the control. And, you know, as much as, you know, it comes down to the wire, a lot of great moments on the defensive side for the Longhorns. It's just one slip-up, right? It's just one mistake, and all of a sudden, boom, deep spawns by Shandy. Have to try to play a retake and have to kind of throw ourselves at the zone. And it's all it takes, just one moment like that, and they're able to capitalize.
And this is another instance, just for what it's worth, outside of the team play, which I mean, again, we could praise it all day long. When you're looking at the outlook of this Texas State team, it's almost the exact same situation we looked at for Ottawa. It's like you've got another guy now in the mix that looks like he's going to step up pretty much every single time you ask him to. Splody had an incredible series on all 3 maps. And that's great news, I think, to your prospects of trying to, you know, end up on top of this Western region where you've got a heavy hitter like Oklahoma Christian in the mix. You still have teams like St. Edwards who are looking really solid as well. So, you know, I think this is just really hopeful for Bobcat fans out there, whereas for Texas, lots to go back to the lab and look at, and maybe just some more time, you know, in ranked and in bot lobbies, just trying to get individually better, not to, like, you know, use that as a shame point, but, you know, you could definitely tell that the individual skill gap was still pretty significant in this one across, you know, all 8 members.
For sure. Had a real good couple chances in that S&D. Feel like maybe something different happens if they're able to have a better start, but Tactic, a lot of great moments out of him, man. S&D in the respawns, just such a huge factor. When you got 2 ARs watching over you, picking up lanes, makes it so easy to get some of these really prime positions to make the big plays. So 3-1 victory, 3-0. We've got 2 3-0 so far, Alan. They've been very swift, very dominant for one side, without a doubt.
not been the banger evening that I think most were hoping, seeing all the numbers and rankings that were next to all of our teams that we're going to get here this evening. But I will still say that, this is, early season CCL, you're going to expect to see some of this, where expectations are not being lived up to, whether on the negative side or maybe expectations are being, set too low for certain teams. And I think we've gotten 2 instances on either side for both these 2 series. For Longhorn Gaming, just not quite there yet, I feel like, individually as well as collectively as a squad. I think the same thing could be said about our opening matchup that we had as well, looking at Davenport. They've only won 1 map. Whereas for Longhorn Gaming now, again, they've only played 2 series, but they're 0-6 in maps now, which is never good news to start off your series. So here's a look back at it. Tight moments in the first 3 hills for Mercado Hardpoint, and then it just wasn't. And the Embassy Search, a little bit of back and forth here and there. Some good capitalization on mistakes by the Longhorn Gaming squad, but ultimately just not able to get anything put together convincingly enough.
Yeah, that's where my mind goes back to when I think about this entire map set. It's the Embassy S&D that I think they really needed to collapse on and really try to capitalize on with a win, and it just didn't happen there. The slow start, attack to dropping 16 kills, obviously, is always going to be an issue, but just never really being able to kind of take control of a map, I think, was really the story through this entire series. And as you said, back to the lab, have to work on some things going forward, and we'll see what happens.
Well, coming up next in our final series of week 2, we've got Westcliff and St. Edwards. More players. I mean, this is out of our 6 teams that we had. 4 of these teams were at LAN last year for the CCL playoffs. So hopefully we'll get a good one there. But before we drop over to break, I just want to give another very, very fond shout out towards America's Navy and Fandom for supporting. Again, if you're looking for an opportunity to possibly pursue more than just your education, the Navy allows you to earn a college education at their expense, but when enlisted, you can actually attend classes even while on ship. Navy offers world-class training in using cutting-edge equipment and technology to prepare enlisted men and women to maximize their potential. And right now, $180,000 are up for grabs and offers in ROTC scholarships. So definitely make sure you explore all of that at americansnavy.com. Also, big shout-outs to Fandom for once again helping support the college scene. It's the boy for break, and we've got another, hopefully, marquee matchup on our hands with 2 more ranked squads finishing off the week. We'll see you at the backside of the break.